Welcome back to the CFB Battle Royale. I am your host, Greggles, and we are going to be doing the Conference USA right now. So after the exciting events of the American, the ACC, the Big Ten, and the Big 12, we're now going to go back to the G5 group and another 14-team conference and do Conference USA. So just like the past ones, the first 100, 150 turns or so are not really much other than setup. So let's get going and we'll keep talking about it as we go. So, like all the other ones, it's just it's the same map. It's going to be the same map as you saw in the Big Ten. It's a 14-team map. So now we've seen everything, I think, but the 12-team map and the 7-team map for the Independents, which are coming up next. So alrighty, so it's going to be probably around turn 80, like it's been before. Turn 80 would be around the time we see the first military units. At about turn 150 or so is when we see the first war. Hopefully this one goes faster than the Big Ten did. That was a lot longer of a match, with just some teams kind of getting stuck fighting long, far off wars that really didn't have any sort of relevance to their location. So if we can have if we can have a little bit more of a quick turnaround here, that'd be great. We have Charlotte up in the top, FAU, FIU, Louisiana Tech, Marshall, North Texas, Old Dominion, Rice, Southern Miss, UAB, UTSA, UTEP, or UTEP, UTSA, Western Kentucky, and Middle Tennessee State, who I almost forgot, so I added them and they ended up last in the list. So don't worry, I didn't actually forget about you. I just knew I missed one as I was adding them. So usually they're in ABC order in clockwise fashion, but Middle Tennessee gets to be last this time. So all right, we're at turn 31 and we're going to keep going and we're going to see what happens. So far, nothing different. Everyone's just working on their tile improvements with their workers. No great generals, no great artists yet. Everyone just moved. They finished their last construction onto the next one, what they all choose. It looks like they're all choosing the same thing. They're all working their latest or their first wheat patch. So first they go for the hill for production, then they're going to the wheat for some food. So it's all, the AI seems to be all on the same path here in the beginning, and then shortly after about turn, when they start getting military units, is when they differ. So in the beginning, everyone's pretty much on the equal ground, and then they change. Expansion wise, it looks like a lot of teams moving on to the team to their left. Southern Miss, UAB, both going into their leftmost neighbors. Same with UTEP, but Western Kentucky actually is getting both UTEP, or sorry, not UTEP, UTSA and Middle Tennessee State are both heading towards Western Kentucky here. So the Hilltoppers have a bit of a conundrum where they're getting enveloped by both of their neighbors instead of just one like everybody else. Marshall really trying to envelop North Texas over here, who's trying to also take out Old Dominion. So all right, we're about turn 50, so we should start seeing the first military units sometime soon. Oh, there it is. Wow. There is Louisiana Tech has the catapult. Rice has a great general. And Western Kentucky has a catapult as well. So we're starting to see the first units. Turn 55. That's pretty early. So, and like we've seen before, though, having the first units does not give you that much of an advantage. It's just that shows that they're focused on military, but things can change very quickly in this game. So you can have the first military, as we saw in the Big 12, but then if you utilize it poorly, you lose it, and then someone else slowly builds theirs up behind you, but then takes the right opportunity and invades. But it looks like Old Dominion now has their own catapult. No one else that I can see has one yet. So 3 teams with catapults now. Oh, there's Louisiana Tech's. Sorry, no, they were the original one. Just kidding. FAU has a great general. And that's it. So we are going to keep going and see. It'll probably be a few turns, like another 60 to 70 turns before we start seeing wars spot. But the fact that people are building military units so quickly and so early is a good sign. So Old Dominion, Louisiana Tech, and Western Kentucky. And the reason why, Old Dominion built a second catapult. That's why they are so far ahead of everyone else. So they're preparing. So if I were Rice or North Texas, I would be concerned. North Texas does have a great general now. Marshall has nothing. The Florida schools both have no military units, but FAU does have a great general. Looks like UTSA is focusing on trade first. UAB, UTEP, and Southern Miss don't have anything at the moment. So we're going to just keep on going. Looks like North Texas is not going to let Marshall trying to block it in the north get the better of it. It's expanding out further towards the center. It looks like Middle Tennessee has started to go towards the center now as well, and now over towards Charlotte. So it looks like Western Kentucky is safe for now. I think their initial catapult dissuaded everyone else from doing further expansion into their territory. It looks like Southern Miss now has the catapult. Marshall does start worshipping a pantheon of gods. Gives them one culture from pastures. There's a lot of cattle in front of them, but they don't have any cattle in their territory yet that I can see. So, but it makes sense that the Thundering Herd would go towards the cows, even if it is supposed to be buffalo. Old Dominion does have their third catapult in the area now, so that's giving them a significant military advantage. But again, they can't take any cities with a catapult. They need a melee unit, so a swordsman, a pikeman, a warrior, anything of the sort. So catapults help bring cities down, but it's the swordsmen that do it. There is the swordsman that they need, though, so Rice and North Texas need to be careful. The swordsman's going to go out on a little adventure. He's going to go see what their neighbors look like. Maybe if they're weak enough, they're worth invading. Rice just used a great artist. FAU has a catapult now. Louisiana Tech with 3 catapults, but no melee unit yet. Western Kentucky still happy with just their first one. UTEP has their first catapult. So, a lot of moves being made here. Old Dominion definitely starting off with the largest military power. Louisiana Tech not too far behind, though. Charlotte being very quiet up there in the north. Oh, who's this? All right, so Louisiana Tech has Champ. They're a unique unit. So that is their melee. That is a melee unit. They can go on and start taking cities now. So they're about equal with Old Dominion. So we know who our two most aggressive are at the moment. Marshall has denounced the Mean Green of North Texas. And that's because they're expanding and blocking Marshall now. So Karma kind of got the better of Marshall there as they're being blocked by both North Texas and Louisiana Tech. And Marshall can't do anything about it because they have no military at the moment. So North Texas needs to make sure they get a military before Marshall does, just to keep their land secured. Looks like Western Kentucky has started building up their lands as well. And Southern Miss has built that second catapult. UAB has not done much yet. They have a great general, but no military units that can do damage. UTEP has 3 catapults. Marshall still has nothing. Old Dominion now has a warrior, as well as their swordsmen and 3 catapults. So they're ahead of everybody else. Louisiana Tech not too far behind, actually, with 2 champs. So they're pretty much on equal footing. The unique unit for Louisiana Tech may actually give them a slight advantage. Oh, they have 3 champs. Never mind. Louisiana Tech is going full military first. So if I were Marshall or FIU, I would be scared. Because as soon as those champs come back from their scouting missions, they're going to know exactly who they want to invade. Looks like Western Kentucky has their melee unit, so they can go ahead and start attacking cities. Charlotte and Marshall and Middle Tennessee and Rice and UAB do not have any military whatsoever yet. Old Dominion has a lot of warriors out scouting instead of staying back at home and defending, which they don't really need. North Texas has the catapult. As we keep going, we're starting to get to that point where we're going to start seeing some wars here soon. We're at turn 140 coming up. And Old Dominion now has Big Blue, which is their unique unit as well. All these unique units will be found in a Google Doc that I have posted. It'll be in the description, or it'll be in the description of the YouTube channel post, and it'll be in the comments on the Reddit post about this game. So you need to go to reddit.com/r/CFB and find the post about the Micro Battle Royale here, or you can go when this is posted on YouTube and find the link in the description. All right, so we have our first war. It's going to be Charlotte and Western Kentucky going to war against Middle Tennessee State. Now, Charlotte did finally build a catapult, but the bulk of this war is going to be done by Western Kentucky. Middle Tennessee does not have any military whatsoever, so now is the time to invade before they get anything of the sort. If I was Western Kentucky, bring this pikeman home, bring everyone you have back quickly, and start that invasion if you want. On the other end of the continent, it looks like Louisiana Tech and Old Dominion are going to launch an invasion against North Texas. So being the two largest militaries in the game are against you, that's not a good position for North Texas to be in. Luckily, it's early, so not everyone's going to be fully committed, and except Old Dominion seems to be going full on in with this. On the other end of the continent, again, Louisiana Tech apparently joining a two-front war with FAU against FIU, who has no military whatsoever. So if I was Louisiana Tech, I'd ignore the war against North Texas and go straight for this war against FIU with your owl buddies, because there's no way that FIU will be able to defend themselves. Let's see. It looks like Western Kentucky and Charlotte are not going to be doing much against Middle Tennessee State at the moment. North Texas's stadium is beginning to take damage as the champ unique unit is surrounding Ricardo Silva Stadium. So Old Dominion doing good damage to Apogee Stadium. It's down to about half health, but they're down to 2 melee units in the area. So now just 1. And no catapults or anything of the sort. So it's down to the red, but it's going to be up to this warrior basically to do all of the city capture. And it's going to be very hard to do without being killed. So Ricardo Silva beginning to take damage. It looks like Middle Tennessee State is going to be fine for now. Can Apogee Stadium hold on? And it can. So they knock out Old Dominion's entire military. They've held on. North Texas is doing great. They're lucky that Louisiana Tech is distracted by going after FIU instead, because they would be eliminated immediately if they had focused on North Texas first. But they're going to be okay for now. Old Dominion needs time to rebuild a military and get one over there before North Texas can heal. So Ricardo Silva is down to about 3/4 of health, with mostly Louisiana Tech units in the area. FAU is bringing a few of their own, but now it's down to the red with just a ton of champ bulldogs in the area. And there we go. So Louisiana Tech has taken Ricardo Silva Stadium, eliminating FIU from the game. They're the first team out. So F in the chat for FIU. So Louisiana Tech starts off with that massive military and the land advantage. So unlike Old Dominion, who squandered their opportunity, Louisiana Tech took advantage. So we'll see if that pays out in the long run. UTEP has Pay Dirt Pete, their unique unit. The war against Middle Tennessee State, nothing is happening. Charlotte never was going to join in the first place. They don't have the military. And it looks like Western Kentucky didn't really want to fully commit to it yet. North Texas is doing great. Marshall still has not learned and not built a military. They've seen all the other teams getting attacked, and that's not going to happen. It looks like FIU had this lake was not owned by them yet. So FAU, while trying to invade, put a swordsman in the lake to then disembark and take Ricardo Silva. But when it got captured, now that swordsman's stuck in the lake. So that swordsman's not going anywhere for FAU unless war is declared. So he's going to be sitting on that boat for a while. Middle Tennessee State's wide open if Western Kentucky wants to take it, but I don't think they will. So here come that was the first announcement against Louisiana Tech, and I'm sure there will be many more. Old Dominion and North Texas make peace. Old Dominion's military is gone. They don't even have one anymore. And so there's the next announcement of Louisiana Tech. So Old Dominion's lost their military. They're down there with Marshall now and Charlotte to an extent. I think Charlotte even has a bigger military. So they're with Marshall and Middle Tennessee, who's been at war. So, and there's Louisiana Tech's next target. So Louisiana Tech declares war on Charlotte along with FAU. So it looks like Louisiana Tech and FAU are best buds. They've declared war on both FIU now and now Charlotte. So they want to go take Jerry Richardson Stadium. Charlotte does get the Terracotta Army, which gives them 1 extra catapult. I don't know how well that'll do in the war against a full 2 militaries, but good on them. I think they made peace with Middle Tennessee State, so they don't have to worry about that fight. Maybe they didn't. But Middle Tennessee State doesn't have a military anyway, so not a big problem there. Oh, there it is. There's the peace deal with Middle Tennessee. So FAU on the way, already in their territory. Louisiana Tech on the way. But Louisiana Tech has left their entire Joe Allier Stadium open. And Marshall now has some catapults, but no melee units. Old Dominion slowly rebuilding. Rice finally got it together. UAB still has no military. UAB needs to build something, because they're in a very bad position right now. They're looking at what's happening with every other team with no military and doing nothing about it. So we'll see. We know Louisiana Tech is committed to actually capturing cities. FAU seems to be committed. Rice and Southern Miss are going to join forces and attack Old Dominion. I'm surprised Rice is the aggressor on that, but they do actually have a military now. So Jerry Richardson Stadium is down to half health with both teams surrounding it. So I think that one's going to fall very quickly. And there it goes. So it looks like Louisiana Tech is going to capture Jerry Richardson Stadium. So FAU has tried twice to capture a stadium and failed twice to Louisiana Tech. So their next course of action, because they're surrounded by them now, should be declare war on Louisiana Tech. We'll see if they do it. Who knows? Marshall or anyone would be a great time to attack Louisiana Tech at their capital, but we'll see if they can gather the resources and military strength to do so. But for now, Louisiana Tech gets to go ride all the rides at Carowinds. So, alright, so Southern Miss is moving in on Old Dominion. They're doing some damage to their military units, and they seem to be keeping their own units relatively healthy. They haven't done any damage to SB Ballard Stadium yet, so we're not sure if it's going to be a successful invasion or not, but they're doing damage to it now. So they only have one melee unit left. It's down to the red, but so is their pikemen. Rice is on the way, so if they don't get this, then Rice probably will. There goes the pikemen. Here comes Rice. So there goes Southern Miss. They're in the way, so the pikemen can't move. There's the pikemen. SB Ballard is down to no health, and it is captured. So Rice is going to take SB Ballard Stadium. Old Dominion is going to be eliminated from the game. That is an F in the chat for Old Dominion. So things are kicking off now. We're at turn 211. We've already had 3 teams eliminated. And Old Dominion, who was the biggest army in the game at one point, along with Louisiana Tech, squandered it trying to invade North Texas, lost that war, and then immediately paid the price. So FAU has a very scattered Louisiana Tech military around it. This would be a good time to consolidate, go after Ricardo Silva, maybe see if you can join forces with Marshall or North Texas and go after Joe Allier Stadium. Over in the west, UTEP is definitely looking like the powerhouse in the area, especially now that Southern Miss lost a lot of their military units trying to take on Old Dominion. UAB has built a single composite bowman as their military, and I guess that helps. Middle Tennessee State still has not built a military yet. I think they're still at war with Western Kentucky, not 100% sure. Expect Louisiana Tech to declare war on them soon. Maybe FAU can join in with them again for the third time to lose out on actually capturing the city again. So let's see what happens. All right, so UTEP definitely should go to war with UAB. That should be the next major course of action, would be UTEP on UAB. Or someone joining forces with FAU against Louisiana Tech. So, either one would be good. UTEP needs to do something because they're kind of getting trapped in here, in their corner, between UTSA and UAB. And UAB has no military to back themselves up. They have a composite bowman, a knight, and a swordsman now. And the swordsman's leaving. He's going out on... Nope, he's back. Okay. Alright, so we just need some consolidation. Alright, so Louisiana Tech gets a pantheon. They get 1 happiness from cities with a population of 6 or more, which is good. That's all of them. That's going to help their happiness woes of capturing all these cities. FAU has a pretty sizable military, and they can burst out and take one of Louisiana Tech cities, but they got to be careful because now Louisiana Tech has rebuilt a bit and could easily push them on both sides. So no matter what side they go on, Louisiana Tech can go to the other side and attack them from there. Marshall's looking pretty scary now, though, so Marshall could join forces with the Owls against Louisiana Tech. That would be a good strategy. UTEP would be great to go to war with UAB, then use that as a springboard maybe into Southern Miss or UTSA. If FAU wants to, they can take Johnny Floyd Stadium from Middle Tennessee State and then use that as a springboard to Jerry Richardson so you can control the whole North. There's a lot of strategies that could be happening right now. Marshall's going to found Catholicism. And Rice is going to go to war with North Texas. So the Owls are going to push in. North Texas makes peace with Louisiana Tech, which they never really used that war at all. And they're going to need a miracle because Rice is just pushing in. UAB builds this statue of Zeus. Apogee Stadium hasn't taken damage yet, but North Texas is once again out of military units. There's the damage. It's down to the yellow. Now it's down to half health. Now it's down to the red. Rice has run out of melee units, so they need to bring in a melee unit. So once again, North Texas may come out of this without a melee unit able to capture the city. Can they get that lucky twice? UAB builds the Great Wall. That should help keep them probably a few more eliminations. Like, that may have saved them at least a few spots in the leaderboard here for the conference. So Rice once again tries to invade just like Old Dominion did before them. They lost their entire army and failed to get a melee unit into Apogee Stadium in time to capture it. So while Rice is going to not be able to do it, it looks like, Marshall could quickly run in and take it from them, giving them the little bit of an upper hand. Middle Tennessee State has had time to actually build 2 military units, which for them is quite the military. Now, it looks like North Texas has built, a composite bowman and a knight, and they're going to push in on SB Ballard Stadium. They're doing some damage to it, but they're not going to be able to stop them. Or they're not going to be able to take it. So there we go. So they made peace. They've made up. You know, if I were Marshall, I would invade North Texas right now. If I were FAU, I'd invade Jerry Richardson or Johnny Floyd if you want to not have to fight a two-front war. Because then you can take Johnny Floyd, then take Jerry Richardson, then work your way down Florida or Louisiana Tech. And if I were UTEP, I'd team up with Southern Miss and try to take on Legion Field. But we'll see. Alright, so Western Kentucky finally makes peace with Middle Tennessee State. Now that the Blue Raiders have a decent army. FAU's got a pretty big army. Louisiana Tech has a pretty big army. They're actually pretty equal, I'd say. And there we go. So Western Kentucky and Louisiana Tech are going to go to war with UTSA. UTEP should probably join this fight, because UTSA is going to spend all their military power trying to fight Western Kentucky. And if Louisiana Tech does send their military, that's perfect time for FAU to invade. Which is why I don't think they're going to do it. Alright, so it looks like UTSA's military is pretty much depleted, but so is Western Kentucky's. Louisiana Tech has founded Buddhism. Militaristic Buddhism. Marshall's been very quiet, but they have a good army. So we'll see if they do anything with it. Rice does have their MOB, their Marching Owl Band. So we'll see if they do anything with that. Maybe they'll try another time to go after North Texas. UAB has got 3 wonders. So that's what they seem to be focusing on, is wonders instead of military. But now that they have the wall, that's going to help them out a little bit. At least make it more difficult. Now would be the perfect time for UTEP to invade UTSA. Or FIU to invade literally anybody on the West Coast. Or FAU. Sorry, not FIU. Actually, Middle Tennessee State's probably the most militaristically capable in the Northwest right now. UTSA now has Rowdy, the Roadrunner, and they've made peace with Western Kentucky. So let's see what happens here. I'm surprised no one else has retried to invade North Texas, especially Marshall. And no one's tried to invade UAB. FAU seems to be on the move. Oh, those are scouts. They're supposed to be on the move. Okay. All right, there we go. FAU and Louisiana Tech finally go to war. FAU is going to be rushing in towards Jerry Richardson Stadium, whereas Louisiana Tech is going to be rushing in towards FAU Stadium. So all Louisiana Tech has to do is take FAU Stadium before FAU takes anything else, and they've eliminated them from the game. Meanwhile, Southern Miss and Middle Tennessee State are also going to declare war on Louisiana Tech. Middle Tennessee State really only has to go for Jerry Richardson. That's all they can do. Rice and Marshall are going to also declare war. So this is going to be everyone versus Louisiana Tech. So this could be the first time we really see a team that starts out really great and then crumbles because of so many joint wars against them. So Jerry Richardson Stadium is going to fall. But to who is the question? Could FAU lose out a 3rd time on a stadium capture? No. All right, so FAU takes out Jerry Richardson Stadium, pushing Middle Tennessee back from that. Now they can turn their attention south towards Ricardo Silva if they want to. And it looks like Rice and Southern Miss are on their way with sizable militaries towards Louisiana Tech. So if this can hold out, that's pretty much all of both of their forces. Marshall's being kind of not aggressive with it, but not just sitting there and not doing anything. UTSA makes peace with Louisiana Tech. They weren't going to send a military out anyway. As Rice and Southern Miss show up at the door of Louisiana Tech, FAU is working their way down from the top. So there we go. So they're beginning to take on Joe Allier Stadium. We'll see who can get it, because Louisiana Tech's military is pretty much destroyed. It's brought down to half health. Down to the red. Now who's going to get it? It's probably going to be Rice. They have a ton of units. And it's Rice. So Rice takes Joe Allier Stadium. That is Louisiana Tech's capital. So they're not out yet. They're down to just Ricardo Silva with tons of units bearing down on them from 3 different teams. So this is the first time we've really seen the warmonger penalty actually punish a team, as Rice sends even more reinforcements up to take Ricardo Silva. So it's brought down to just under half health. Down to the red. Oh my gosh. Alright, so Southern Miss sneaks in, snipes it from Rice. And Ricardo Silva Stadium has been captured by Southern Miss, eliminating Louisiana Tech from the game. So they flew too close to the sun, had a warmonger penalty, and got eliminated from that. So that is an F in the chat for Louisiana Tech. And I think we're now back to peacetime. Southern Miss and Rice are going to have a hard time, though, because their 2 new cities are on the opposite end of the continent from themselves. So they're going to be defending themselves in 2 different spots and having to send militaries across the continent to do so. UAB has built their military up to be somewhat formidable. Actually pretty formidable. They could probably invade and beat Southern Miss at Roberts Stadium. Rice has land bombed Southern Miss to add insult to injury. North Texas has built their military up. Marshall's still looking pretty strong. So things are heating up. My voice is starting to go from all the we may have to take a break here. We're probably going to split this up into 2 days. So we may end it here after this one and then do the Independence and more tomorrow. We will see what happens, because my voice is like going. Like, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's definitely straining. So Middle Tennessee State builds I think that was the Parthenon. And then now see, this is the problem where Rice now has all their military units kind of going around North Texas and Marshall to get to their next stadium. They're keeping the majority of their forces down here, so they may go to war with Southern Miss, in which case they're fighting in 2 separate areas. Southern Miss a lot more powerful on the east coast, Rice a lot more powerful on the south coast. And there we go. So yeah, Rice and UAB are going to form a joint war against Southern Miss. UAB is going to rush in and invade Roberts, and they'll do a great job. They'll capture it. Southern Miss could go after Joe Allier, but they're going to lose their own home capital and get pushed over to the 8 population Ricardo Silva. So who's going to get Roberts? Let's see. People that like to smile the most, it's not really that big of a problem. Southern Miss is -3, so that's going to be a big problem for them. But Ricardo Silva is okay. Joe Allier Stadium's okay. And there you go. So Rice brought it to the red, and UAB just walked right in and took it. Roberts Stadium is now under UAB's control. So they started late, but they're doing great now. Rice has a massive military that they can just send right back up to Ricardo Silva, because Southern Miss is sending their army to Joe Allier, but it's just 2 trebuchets, so they can't do anything. UTEP has been surprisingly quiet. So is Marshall. I don't know what they're planning, but they're planning something. So FAU is going to go to war with Middle Tennessee State, along with Southern Miss, and UTEP is going to finally make their move and also declare war on Southern Miss. They're on opposite ends of the country, so I don't see that doing anything. Excuse me, but FAU will make quick work of Southern Miss if they want to go that way, but it seems like they're going to Middle Tennessee first, which is going to be more of a fight. Alright, so they're going to be fighting there. Rice is sending some of their units to Ricardo Silva. A few FAU units are doing their part in that fight, but they're mostly focusing on Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee's denounced Southern Miss. So FAU is going to make peace with Middle Tennessee. They just weakened both of their militaries a bit. UAB makes peace with Southern Miss as well because they're on opposite ends of the continent. They are not going to fight them over there. Rice has gone full in on Ricardo Silva with a ton of mobs. As the stadium begins to take damage, FAU gets there at the same time, so they're going to both be just pelting it with arrows and fire and death. North Texas and Rice are going to declare war against Marshall. Marshall's going to get in there and take Joe Allier from that. I don't know why Rice was the aggressor there. UAB is going to declare war on Rice, so Rice is going to be fighting a ton of different fronts, but Rice does have the advantage of taking Ricardo Silva Stadium, and that is going to eliminate Southern Miss from the game. So that is an F in the chat for Southern Miss. And yeah, so they're out. And this is going to be really bad for Rice because now they have everyone else coming at them from all sides. Thank you so much, Quick Joe. I appreciate it. So, all right. So now Marshall's doing work on Joe Allier Stadium. UAB is getting in there towards Rice Stadium. Rice was just very aggressive. And they were so aggressive that they were fighting on two separate fronts. And that's just going to end up destroying that. That's going to make them fall apart. So Joe Allier Stadium's brought down to no health. Marshall just needs to get a melee unit in there, which they're going to have a hard time doing because North Texas is currently invading them. So this is the Mean Green retaliation for all of the invasions on their turf. Joe Allier Stadium is going to live for now. Rice is going to get involved. They have their military now rebuilt around Joe Allier. Let's see. UAB has Rice Stadium starting to take damage. Jones C. Edwards Stadium is now starting to take damage from North Texas, and Rice will probably be not too far behind. But UAB's run out of military units, so they need to be careful here. FAU probably could declare war on Rice right now and take Ricardo Silva if they wanted to. So Rice is bringing the fight to UAB. They have not brought the fight to Marshall. Marshall doesn't have any military units, so I'm thinking North Texas was regrouping. The West Coast has been very quiet, but very built up. So they have a lot of militaries, but they're not really doing much with it. They're letting the East Coast kind of get the powerhouse here. There's Middle Tennessee and UTEP going to war against UAB, so I spoke too soon. UTEP immediately invades UAB's capital. They're getting over that Great Wall, but can they stay inside that Great Wall? UAB has no military over there to defend themselves. So, I think they'll be okay. It looks like Western Kentucky's on the move, kind of. Not really. Okay. Alright, so Rice is going to hold on. They've actually managed to hold on to all 4 of their cities, surprisingly, in this war. Marshall has no military, but they're holding on for now. UAB is doing okay, but not for long, I don't think. But the fact that UTEP hasn't started doing any damage to them yet is concerning. If they can take Legion Field, I bet you the Great Wall will take the Sun Bowl inside of it too. But they're not doing any damage to it, so I don't know. Middle Tennessee's not going to join them in this fight. It's all UTEP right now. Yeah, UTEP did not do this correctly. They messed that up. They're now moving on towards Roberts, I guess, but they waited too late to make that decision, and now their military has gotten destroyed. Here comes Middle Tennessee State. They're on the move, so Middle Tennessee State's on the move down. They're getting kind of blocked over by Western Kentucky. There's the declaration of peace right as they get to the borders. So not really sure why they marched all that way. And there is the declaration of peace by UTEP. So that war is now over. UAB's Great Wall saved them. I mean, that's why the Great Wall is such a good wonder in this game. At least for this game type. So if we take a look at the global relations, you'll see the only war right now is between Rice and UAB and Marshall. and Marshall and North Texas. Everyone else has open borders and maybe some denouncements, but nothing too crazy. And Rice is still fighting that two-front war, but they're not doing anything with it. They're rebuilding right now. They're hanging out. UTEP lost a lot of units in that. Excuse me. North Texas has no money versus all of the money by Western Kentucky and UAB. Surprisingly, that's why UAB is able to hold on for so long, is they can purchase military units so quickly and easily. Rice builds Notre Dame. And then, let's see, anything else? Then there we go. So Rice has made peace with UAB. They can focus entirely on Marshall if they want to. I don't think they will. I bet we'll see a peace declaration from Rice and Marshall soon. North Texas is still at war with them, and they're not really pushing in that anymore, even though Marshall still has no military left. I'm feeling okay. My voice is just starting to go. So I think this is going to be the last one for the day. I'm going to take a break, and then tomorrow, let my voice rest, and then tomorrow we're going to pick this back up. So tomorrow night, I'll give you guys a time. But yeah, it's just my voice is starting to go. I'm trying to drink water in between each round, but it's deteriorating fast. So we'll do what we can. But don't worry, my spirits are up. It's just my voice is not cooperating. So North Texas has Jones C. Edwards down to the red. So this is not looking good for Marshall. They have military. Nope. Oh, they have the same thing that always happens and saves them. But they do have 2 military units, melee units, in the back. They can move them forward and take Jones C. Edwards, which is down to no health. Rice was in there with some lancers. They could not get them through. Now there's a mob in the way, on the way, so let's see if he can sneak in and get it. Marshall's not looking too good. There's a knight for North Texas, so who's going to get Jones C. Edwards? Is it going to be Rice or North Texas? And it's North Texas. So the Mean Green get in there. They snipe Jones C. Edwards Stadium, and that is going to be an F in the chat for Marshall. They have been eliminated from the game. And now we have this cluster of teams on the left versus the kind of more consolidated teams on the right. So we'll see how things go. I mean, the teams on the West Coast have massive militaries versus the spread out but low military teams on the right, or on the East. However, because the teams on the East all have multiple cities, Rice having 5 of them, but separated by North Texas, that would mean that they have the ability to produce more units faster than the teams that have these massive militaries already on the West. Rowdy Roadrunner still exists for UTEP or UTSA. I keep getting those two confused. Let's see. Nothing new. It doesn't look like there's any wars. No wars, just a lot of announcements. Okay. So nothing yet. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams left. So we're still doing pretty good. We're probably going to see the West Coast consolidate next. The East Coast is consolidated completely to just 3 different teams. Yeah, 3 different teams. I keep forgetting that both of these are Rice. So there's our next consolidation war. So Rice and UTEP are going to go to war again with UAB. Rice did get Roberts Stadium. So UAB's down to just Legion Field. Middle Tennessee State's going to join that war again. I don't know when Rice got Roberts. I'm not sure when that happened. But they don't really have a military, so UAB, their military's over here. So UAB could try to take it back. They just got to be wary of everyone else coming in and taking Legion Field, but that Great Wall is going to be great. I mean, it's going to help them a lot. Here's the next consolidation is UTSA has taken advantage of UTEP losing their military in this fight against UAB. And they're going to launch an invasion of their own. So once Western Kentucky decides who they want to go after next, that's going to be the next big push. I think this is where we're going to see the consolidation of the West Coast into like 2 or 3 teams from the 5 it is now. So UTEP's going to abandon their invasion of UAB and try to surround the Sun Bowl and just protect it from whatever they can. So So UTSA's coming in there with rowdies and musketmen and whatever they got. And now this is where UTSA needs to be careful that Western Kentucky doesn't invade. FAU's on the move for something. We'll see where they're going. FAU's sending like their entire army out there. I don't know what they're doing. Here comes UTEP, UTSA, and UAB towards the Sun Bowl. We'll see who gets it. It's probably going to be UTSA, but you never know. FAU's on the way to fight someone. Are they at war with anybody? No. So they're going to be declaring war against somebody as soon as they get there. My guess is going to be UTSA, but looks like Western Kentucky's kind of in their way. They're not going to be able to get there, so they're going to go home. That was a short-lived war effort. Rice is inside of the Great Wall of Legion Field. Will they be able to stay there? I don't know. That's why UAB's kind of pulled out and let UTSA do all the fighting here. Sun Bowl brought down to just about 2/3 health, but that's going to be all that is. Yeah, UTSA is not going to be able to get this, I don't think. They get it down to half. Oh, maybe they couldn't. They can prove me wrong. They got a lot of units in the area, so let's see. So these guys are a piece. FAU's got a very sizable army. It's down to the red. Sun Bowl's down to the red. Rice is trying their hardest to get into the Great Wall to fight Legion Field. UTSA is sending all the units they can, but they're wasting their entire military to do so. So they're going to, if they win this, Western Kentucky can just come in and just smash the Alamo Dome. So we'll see. All right, so UAB makes peace with UTEP because that makes sense. UTEP can't focus on it. UTEP's going to hold off. They're not going to lose the Sun Bowl. And both teams have lost both of their militaries. So no team really came out ahead in this. There's FAU's declaration of war against Rice. This is what I was expecting. They're going to consolidate the East Coast under the OWL regime. So FAU is going to go after Ricardo Silva. They want their in-state rivals' capital. Everyone has 45 to 40 technologies. Western Kentucky, for having such a large military, is very behind technologically. Rice is in first, which makes sense because, you know, they're Rice. But that's probably going to change if FAU can manage to take both of these cities. Ricardo Silva begins to take damage. Rice is still trying to take Legion Field. That's not going to happen. And they're going to lose a city or two in the process. So Ricardo Silva is taking damage. Let's see if they can hold it. No, I guess they're going to make peace. Why? Why'd you make peace there? That didn't make sense. Okay. All right, well, let's keep going then. Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky have been very quiet, and I'm surprised by that. The militaries in the West have dwindled. I mean, we just saw those two big wars. FAU's got to be moving towards someone else. They're moving west. I think they're going to go after... Yep, they're going to go after Middle Tennessee State. So they decided Rice wasn't the right target right now. They want to go after someone with a larger army? Not really sure why. So Middle Tennessee makes peace with UAB. They weren't really committed to that fight anyway. UTSA is still trying for that Sun Bowl. Not sure, they're not going to get it. They're dwindling their military completely. North Texas is on the move somewhere. So I expect North Texas to declare war against, I'm going to guess, Middle Tennessee State. FAU's pushing their way in there. They're at Johnny Floyd Stadium, but they haven't started damaging it yet. North Texas is right there. Where are they going? Not sure. They've spent most of their military out. Nope, they seem to be going towards UTSA. Johnny Floyd Stadium begins to take damage. FAU's got tons of units in the area. Now North Texas is going south. They're going to UTSA. Okay, so they're going to attack UTSA, but they have one... Oh, do they have open borders? I don't think they have open borders with anyone, so they have one tile of gap to get in there and fight the Alamo Dome. But there we go. So FAU does take Johnny Floyd Stadium. So that's going to be an F in the chat for Middle Tennessee State. They've been eliminated from the game. FAU now controls the entire north of the map. And if they can take Ricardo Silva and Joe Allier from a distracted and weakened Rice, they will be in an amazing position. All right, so North Texas is trying to squeeze their way into UTSA's territory, but I don't think they're going to be able to do it. That's just wasting their military at this point. So FAU is going to figure out what they're going to do next. I don't know what Western Kentucky's doing. They've just been sitting there quietly, and everyone's kind of forgotten that they're there. Rice is still trying as hard as they can to take Legion Field, but that wall is turning out to be a great asset by the Blazers. All right, so North Texas is into UTSA's territory, but because they have to squeeze and Western Kentucky keeps sending military units in there, they're not able to get what they want out of it. FAU and Western Kentucky both go to war with UAB. So I don't really get FAU's motivation there. FAU should just stay back, let Western Kentucky send their military out, then invade Western Kentucky. That's what I'd do if I were them, at least. And now this is going to be a problem for North Texas because Western Kentucky is going to be wanting to go south, which is going to be blocking all of the Mean Green's army from getting over to UTSA. So Rice is still desperately trying to take Legion Field. They've left Ricardo Silva and Joe Allier completely empty. There's nobody there. There's no military there. FAU, go in there and take it. It's yours. Rice has no... I mean, even in the south, SB Ballard's empty. MM Roberts is empty. Rice Stadium is a single cannon. Someone needs to go take on Rice. They're open. It's open for it. So, let's see. Sorry, my cat was trying to come in. So, hi, cat. Hello. Okay, so Rice and UAB finally make peace after all of this time, and that's going to be finally, that's a distraction for Rice that's been costing them dearly because now they have no military whatsoever, and FAU needs to just pounce on this. Someone needs to pounce, whether it's North Texas, FAU, someone needs to take Rice out because now is the perfect opportunity to do so. I mean, hell, even Western Kentucky could do it. If they wanted to. They have a sizable military. Just take them down there and attack. I mean, they're busy fighting UAB for some reason, but North Texas is sending their units home. They're licking their wounds. They're not going to attack UTSA anymore. Alright, so let's see. FAU's rebuilding. It's hard to tell kind of between FAU and Western Kentucky. It's blue versus black, but it's slightly darker blue, I guess. North Texas is regrouping over by their capital, which is good. That's what they should be doing. Leave UAB alone for a little bit. Leave UTSA alone for a little bit. They're not going to be a problem for you. So let's see. People who like gold, who have the most gold? Yeah, North Texas is broke. FAU's not doing so great, and Western Kentucky is doing amazing. So is UAB and Rice. But Western Kentucky is just in such a small sliver of land. They have just this tiny little sliver. So if multiple teams wanted to attack them, they would fall apart. So UTSA finally reaches a peace agreement with North Texas. Hopefully this means they can figure out that they should be invading Rice instead and do that. So Rice has built up a military again. Their peace with UAB has been great for them. You can see over here on the East Coast, they're not as vulnerable as they once were. FAU is also trying to build up their military, so I expect a war between the two of them soon. North Texas seems to be on the move again. slightly. I'm not sure what they're doing. But I could see a joint, if we could have a joint war against Rice between North Texas, FAU, and hopefully Western Kentucky, that would be great to get Rice out. Because if not, Rice is going to probably run away with it. They have the most cities. They can rebuild quickly. It looks like Western Kentucky is actually fully committed to invading UAB. And North Texas is back on the move that direction again. So who are they going to go after from the West Coast? Western Kentucky makes peace with UAB right as North Texas looks like they're about to go to war with them. Where's the declaration? There it is. North Texas goes to war with UAB. Everyone wants a piece of Legion Field. They're the weakest, but that wall really, really helps them stay alive. So, UAB has just been getting picked on this whole game. And they've been able to just throw every attack back. Rice did land bomb them, so they have land inside of the wall. That's Rice's biggest in. That's the way they're going to win this. And finally, the war I was waiting for was Western Kentucky finally goes to war with UTSA. These are two pretty sizable armies now, both weakened by war somewhat, but this is going to really clear out the West Coast a bit because it's a very FAU is building up there. I see you at Johnny Floyd Stadium. You're going to invade Western Kentucky, aren't you? FAU wants to take on the West Coast, I think. So there's the peace deal with Western Kentucky and UTSA because I bet you, wait for it, there's the war declaration from FAU against Western Kentucky. They saw it coming. So Western Kentucky tried to make peace as quickly as possible with UTSA because they knew they were about to get invaded by FAU. And the Owls are doing a great job. They have Houchins Industries, LT Smith Stadium starting to take damage. They have them outclassed technologically, so they've destroyed the military pretty much. Western Kentucky's once large, sprawling military is gone. Now, FAU left a lot of stuff open in this. They're being very aggressive with this. So it could come back to bite them, but for right now, I think they'll be okay. Alright, so it's starting to take damage. And it looks like North Texas is trying to figure out if they want to keep going after UAB, but I don't think they will. So FAU is struggling a little bit to actually capture the stadium. They've eliminated the army. That's important. So there's not much resistance. They've got it down to half health. Now it's down to the red. Deep red. There we go. So, okay. FAU has captured Houchins Industries LT Smith Stadium. That is the end of Western Kentucky. That is an F in the chat for Western Kentucky. And now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams left. So we're a little over halfway done. And let's see who goes next. FAU is in a great position. Rice and FAU seem to be the two biggest teams. They're the front runners for me. UAB's time is limited, but I think they're going to last till probably 3rd or 4th place just because it's impossible to invade them with that Great Wall. North Texas has done a solid job of holding out, but I think it's going to take just one good declaration of war against them where a team doesn't forget to bring in melee units and they'll be eliminated. They should have been gone like 3 or 4 times. They're resilient. I'll give them that. They are not going to die quietly. So the West is starting to finally get consolidated from the 5 teams that it was with just massive armies to just 2 or 3 teams with even more massive armies. FAU has adopted autocracy and built the Brandenburg Gate. They're going to have to take time to rebuild before either going to war with Rice or most likely UTSA, as they've now, you see, double land bombed them. They're pushing the border straight up to the Alamo Dome. So FAU just has to get units over to there, and then they can invade and immediately start attacking the Alamo Dome without having to worry about the military. Because that's their only city, if you take the Alamo Dome, all of UTSA's units disappear. So North Texas still trying their hardest to fight UAB. It's not going to be, it's a losing battle. They have a massive military over here that they're sending out, but it's not gonna work. Like, it's hard to get over the wall. You're not at Great War Infantry yet. Those once you get Great War Infantry, the wall no longer matters. That voids the wall penalty of the extra movement turns. But even then, it's just you have to travel so far to get to Legion Field. It's not worth it. Go down and go take out Rice and then work your way up to Legion Field. I mean, Rice has the largest military in the game by far, by a lot. That's huge. 15,000 to 11,000 of North Texas, which is surprising. I didn't think they'd be in second. FAU's way down here in fourth, and like a distant fourth. But they with their what, 4 cities, they can easily bring that back up quick. So we'll see. Yeah, North Texas is trying the just sheer brute force method. They could probably give Rice a run for their money. But they're going to waste it all trying to take UAB, I think. If they can do this, great. If they can take Legion Field, they finally get that one off their back. But then Rice can just invade them. It's like a weird 4-front war. Because it'd be North Texas, Rice, North Texas, Rice. So, we'll see what happens. FAU quietly rebuilding. Haven't land bombed UTSA any further. It looks like North Texas has adopted order. So UAB is just kind of the distraction for everyone. It distracted Rice for forever and took them a while to rebuild, but they have since rebuilt. And now it's distracting North Texas. Luckily, they're not sending their full force. They have a lot of people down over in Apogee Stadium and Jones C. Edwards that they're keeping as a reserve. But it's not good. All right, UTSA has adopted autocracy. And yeah, you can see because Huchin's Industries LT Smith Stadium and the Sun Bowl have kind of blocked UTSA from expanding outwards, they're forced to expand into the ocean where they can't do anything. So that's really good moves by Western Kentucky when they were there and UTEP to block UTSA from actually advancing into meaningful territory. Alright, so Legion Field is starting to take damage. They got a artillery cannon in the area and are damaging it, but that's not going to last for long. There, the artillery cannon is hurt and being chased out of the area and not killed, but very, very badly damaged. Here comes the next wave of units. So it's the obsession over Legion Field that's going to get North Texas killed. Like, look at how technologically advanced Rice is. They're lucky Rice has been quiet for so long. Alright, let's keep going here. Let's see. North Texas is sending their units in. FAU, how are they doing? They haven't really rebuilt. They're focusing on aircraft, it looks like. Rice builds the Eiffel Tower. I mean, Legion Field has all that money that North Texas does not. So UAB can just rebuy all the military that North Texas eliminates. They also adopted order. So this is just a futile effort by North Texas to take on Legion Field. I don't know why they're trying to take UAB so badly. And there we go. So Rice and North Texas are going to declare war against FAU. So hopefully that gives North Texas a distraction and no longer trying to take Legion Field. FAU is going to put all their units against Ricardo Silva Stadium. They have land ships, which is a huge technological advantage. Wow, I did not expect that from FAU. They have land ships. Ricardo Silva starting to take damage. Let's see if they can manage to hold this off. This is where Rice being separated like this hurts. I mean, prepare for the hammer of both combined Rice and North Texas to hit. But until then, good on FAU. They've left everything else open, so here comes Rice and North Texas against Huchin's Industries. But the battle for Ricardo Silva is looking pretty good. It's pretty even. Ricardo Silva down to the yellow. Now it's down to the red. Nope, still yellow, about half health. Now it's down to the red. Now it's been captured. So FAU captures Ricardo Silva Stadium, but that's not really where the fight seems to be going. North Texas is heading that way, but Rice seems to be heading towards Hutchins Industries LT Smith Stadium, which is a mouthful. So Rice now has their own land ships. North Texas is trying to take Ricardo Silva, and they'll have a lot easier time with that than they did with Legion Field. Like, just look at how many militaries are coming from the middle here with Rice and North Texas. North Texas makes peace for some reason with FAU. I guess they don't want to upset Rice too much. UTSA declares war against UAB. So does UTEP. Everyone wants UAB. No one wants UAB to exist. So Rice has the most technologies by far. UTEP has the least by 11. 11 below the highest. UAB, UTSA both kind of falling behind. So the West Coast just got too cramped. It got too crowded and no one really tried to make room, so they just got stuck. And UAB just keeps getting invaded, so that's why they're so far behind. But it looks like UTEP finally gets in there. They have their units surrounding Legion Field, and it's finally taking damage. Can this be enough to end UAB finally in this battle royale? North Texas is amassing their military. They're going to go after Rice? This would be a great time to go after SB Ballard and Rice Stadium. FAU has no units. Rice is not committing to Hutchins Industries LT Smith. Ricardo Silva is probably going to fall. Rice declares war on UTSA. They're getting just completely split on who they want to be fighting right now. North Texas joins them and declares war on UTSA. Rice makes peace with FAU. They get Ricardo Silva back, but they lost a considerable amount of population, but it ends in a stalemate. FAU lost their army. Rice lost a bunch of population. UTSA's got both of them against them, but it's such a narrow gap to get there that UTSA is going to be okay defending it. These are just such weird AI decisions. UTEP is having all the trouble again attacking Legion Field. They're trying. They're really trying, but they're just not able to do it. I want to see North Texas try to take on Rice. I think they're best buds. I think that's why they're not attacking each other. Is North Texas and Rice are allies. Rice has developed the nuclear bomb, so Rice can get nukes now. We'll see if they can do it, if they actually do it, but they have the ability. Alright, so yeah, it looks like North Texas is still trying to squeeze their way in to UTSA territory. FAU did not. They did not land bomb them again, I don't think. This is where FAU could just come in there and take it, but they're still hurting from their war with Rice and UTSA, or North Texas. But that looks to be where FAU's next move is. And there it is. So FAU declares war on UTSA, who makes peace with Rice in North Texas. Rice gets Broadway as FAU invades UTSA. With their land bombs, they were able to put their units right up against the border. UTSA makes peace with UAB, so everyone is now at peace except for UTEP, or UTSA and Rice, or FAU. The Alamo Dome's brought down to the red immediately and captured. So FAU captures the Alamo Dome, eliminating UTSA from the game. That is an F in the chat for UTSA, and hopefully the last time I'm going to get UTEP and UTSA confused. So, FAU manages to capture another stadium. They didn't get to keep Ricardo Silva, but they got another stadium for it. They can now rebuild their army with their what, 5 stadiums. So they're tied with Rice at the moment for the number of stadium counts. If they want to keep this going, go invade UTEP and take their stadium. Take the lead in city count before Rice and North Texas's weird like relationship, like whatever that is, declares a joint war on you. Because you know that's next. That seems to be what they're doing. FAU has all their units bulked up in that area. They got paratroopers now ready to go. But they're having unhappiness problems. That's it. I saw that little barbarian right there that showed that FAU is having happiness issues. But there's a declaration of war. They don't care. There's the declaration of war. They don't care about the unhappiness. They're going to invade UTEP. And they should easily capture this. So they're going to consolidate the West Coast under the OWL banner. Rice and North Texas are going to declare war against UTEP as well. And after so long of trying to take Legion Field and weakening themselves so much, UTEP's finally going to lose the Sun Bowl and get eliminated. They found autocracy as a last-ditch effort to try and do something. Don't know what. But FAU's there too quickly. Rice and North Texas trying to quickly get units in there, but I don't think they're going to make it. No, never mind. North Texas captures it. So North Texas gets Sun Bowl Stadium, eliminating UTEP from the game. That is an F in the chat for UTEP. And the last time I have to get anything confused, because I now know Rice, FAU, UAB, and North Texas. But that means North Texas has this one little thing of land with one tile of a gap to get any units into Sun Bowl Stadium. So if FAU wants to declare war against North Texas and get all their units to take Sun Bowl Stadium, North Texas can't do anything to stop it. So we'll see what happens. North Texas has a very sizable army. It's North Texas and Rice are very, very dangerous because they're working together. They're not even like fighting against each other. They're working in tandem against everyone else, which is great for Rice because North Texas only has two capitals. So if they can eliminate everyone else, and Rice can manage to hold all of them, or they have 3, sorry, and Rice can manage to hold all but 3, then North Texas will fall quick. Because that, if you can take the 3 cities, then North Texas has the military doesn't mean anything. FAU gets nukes. They have a ton of paratroopers, and now nuclear capabilities. And North Texas and Rice and UAB all declare war against FAU. So here's the warmonger penalty of FAU. And we'll see how it goes. FAU is going to drop all their paratroopers down behind enemy lines. But they're going to have everyone invading them at once. So can they hold off enough? North Texas is going to take the Alamo Dome. There's no doubt in my mind about that. It's already brought down to half health. FAU has -9 happiness. So Willie Taggart's not doing a great job in the happiness department there. I know that was a picture of Lane Kiffin. I haven't changed the images out yet. But Willie Taggart's happiness department is not doing very well. Alamo Dome's down to no health and is now under North Texas control. So FAU is collapsing. They flew too close to the sun. Over on the other side, their paratroopers are trying to get behind enemy lines, but just the sheer force of both North Texas and Rice combined is too much for FAU. Everything else is like wide open. So FAU has no military left from all of their conquests. So this is probably going to be the end of them. They were doing really well, but they just never could get their military together. If this is indicative of Willie Taggart's career there, we'll see. Sounds a lot like FSU. So it's down in the red. Houchins Industries LT Smith Stadium is captured by North Texas. So this is what Rice didn't want, is the number 2 military team that's been their ally to now all of a sudden, potentially, if they can take every FAU stadium but FAU Stadium, which is going to go to Rice, it looks like, they'll have an advantage over Rice. So this could be either team's game, really. FAU does take Houchins Industries back, but then it's immediately recaptured by North Texas. FAU Stadium gets captured by Rice, so now the Owls are down to just 2 cities. One is probably going to fall to North Texas, and one is going to fall to Rice, giving Rice the city advantage of the 2, but It's still going to be close. It's going to be a fierce war between North Texas and Rice when it finally happens again. So UAB makes peace with FAU. They're not going to get a piece of any of that. So they knew that. They're stuck in Legion Field. So there we go. North Texas takes Johnny Floyd Stadium and Rice takes Jerry Richardson Stadium. And that is going to be the end of FAU. So if I can get an F in the chat for FAU, that is the end of the Owls. This is the weirdest looking map, with Rice taking the northeast and the south, and North Texas taking the southeast and the northwest and west. So it's very split, and unlike the other games where it's been just kind of a slowly making your way around the map, this has been taking two sides. It's like a weird two-front war. So now we're down to 3. UAB is in a very terrible position. Technology's improved to where that Great Wall doesn't mean anything anymore. They're just trying to hide behind the wall, but they've managed that. Like I said, this wall has been great for whatever team builds it. Ends up usually in the top 4. Just because until really this point in the game, that wall, it's a small wall, and that wall is just impenetrable. Like, they can just sit there and bombard. So the wall is such a great strategy for early game. But so now we're definitely in a peacetime, I think, between UAB. Yeah, look at that. So friends, UAB and North Texas are friends now, I guess. And Rice and North Texas have open borders and are okay with each other. I don't know why UAB and North Texas are friends, but it's turn 860, so we're going to go until turn 1000. That's 140 turns from now. If we do not have a war between them at that point, I'm going to force war between everybody. And for this one, this is probably the first time where we don't have a team that's really run away with it and is the most likely front runner. I mean, UAB is definitely not going to win, but between North Texas and Rice, I don't know which team is going to get it. It's really kind of, it could go either way, I think. It's also such a weird, Rice has one more city than North Texas does, but if North Texas takes UAB out and betrays their friendship, then it's even. Well, let's take a look real quick. Let's take a look at the graphs. And militaristically, North Texas is here. Rice is right below them. So North Texas actually has that's score. That doesn't matter. Rice has the bigger military by far. North Texas is down here. UAB is way down there. So Rice has the bigger military. And that's really what's important in this, but I don't know. It could go either way. Because Rice has left their entire East Coast open, minus Joe Allier. Rice is gearing up for a war against UAB. I can see that. And that's going to hurt their relationship with North Texas because they're friends. With North Texas and UAB being friends, a declaration of war against UAB is essentially a declaration of war against North Texas. So does Rice want to fight both teams at once or try to take one out and then work on the other? But let's see. Let's just keep going and see what happens. All right, so it looks like everyone's just kind of going to be gearing up here. I may actually force war earlier than I said. I said turn 1000. We may go towards turn like 925 and see what happens. Because this one's just so close. I don't really think... It's not like we're declaring war to see... Just to get to the end of it because we know who's going to win. I want to see what's going to happen. I'm excited for this one. I mean, Rice is so far ahead of everyone else in technology and military strength. I think Rice is going to win it. But it's such a weird, like, grouping, a weird continent look. So I don't know. This could go either way. So at turn 925, we're going to force all-out war and see what happens. And this is going to be the last game of the night. We're going to continue tomorrow, starting with the Independence. Okay, there we go. So Rice has declared war on UAB, so I don't have to do anything. We're going to start tomorrow again with the Independence real quick. We'll start probably around 6 p.m. Would be my guess, because I do actually work tomorrow. It's working from home, so I can start this pretty much immediately after being done with work. But, yeah, so 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know how UNT didn't die. Who knows? They somehow managed to form a friendship with Rice and have just ridden that to being the number 2 team. But Rice is now declaring war against UAB, who did have a declaration of friendship with North Texas. So we're about to, I think, get plunged into all-out war here anyway. But now Legion Field is finally down to half health, and this is going to be, with all the technology no longer applying, or the Great Wall no longer applying to this technology, Legion Field is most likely going to die right now. So prepare your F keys. F in the chat for UAB. They have lost their capital and been eliminated from the game. Rice has taken Legion Field and secured a city advantage over North Texas to end the game. So when these two inevitably do go to war, it's going to be 7 cities to 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 to 6. My bad. So, all right. So now Rice has the military advantage over North Texas. They have the city advantage over North Texas. We're going to go to 950, and then we're going to declare war if they don't do it already. So I waited. See, we don't even have to. Rice is going to declare war against North Texas. They're going to invade all fronts, essentially. Looks like the main wars are going to be Apogee Stadium, which is the North Texas capital, and then Sun Bowl Stadium on the other side. So if they can take Apogee Stadium, that's pretty much the death blow to North Texas. And it looks like Rice totally brought enough military units this time to take the capital. North Texas does have the Mean Green Machine. That's really confusing to read. The Mean Green Machine. But they have that. Apogee Stadium is down to half health, though, with tanks and other military units right there outside the stadium. Air bombardment bringing it down to pretty much no health. Apogee Stadium should fall very quickly. Let's see. Rice drops some paratroopers out over there by Joe Allier. And there goes Apogee Stadium. So North Texas just lost their capital. They're going to probably lose Joan C. Edwards Stadium really quickly. I almost said Joan Rivers. Not the right stadium. Joan C. Edwards should fall. That'll bring Rice down to controlling the entire north, south, and east, and leave North Texas in just the west. Rice does have an unhappiness problem. You can see the barbarians tanks being created because of their unhappiness. If they can just hold out long enough, that won't matter. Rice's military is actually grouped up all on the west coast, so they're going to go after the Sun Bowl, because the east coast is kind of fallen apart with Joan C. Edwards Stadium. So could Rice's unhappiness actually be a big enough problem for them? Because their units aren't going to fight well enough if their unhappiness is super low. So it looks like neither team really has much of a military at this point. Like both Rice and North Texas's militaries have been just destroyed by either unhappiness or war or what. Hold on one second, guys. Sorry. Cat, can you go out there? My cat says hello, everybody. So, all right. Anyway, sorry about that. Alrighty, so we're going to continue on. It looks like the war is raging on. Rice is trying to take the Sun Bowl, but they're also trying to fight their unhappiness along with it. This may not last. Sun Bowl is taking damage. Tanks are in the area to capture it. Maybe. It's like right on the verge. Come on. There's all the barbarians are happening in Rice's territory. So North Texas can just rally here. They could do some damage here, but I don't think they're going to get it. North Texas did just get the nuclear bomb. Rice has had it for a while, but... Rice is having a lot of... They have no military. There's no military left. So Rice's military is destroyed. Both militaries are destroyed. I don't think helicopter gunships can take cities, so that... Yeah, -9 happiness for Rice to 29 for North Texas. So there's the peace declaration. This may actually go on for a while. If North Texas can quickly get their health or their military built back up again, they can declare war and just steamroll Rice. Because Rice has to work on their happiness problems first. So let's see what can happen here. Alrighty. North Texas is trying to rebuild they lost their capital, which is a huge blow to them. So they're down to just 5 cities instead of 6 to Rice's 9, right? Yes, Rice's 9 to their 5. There are 14 teams in the conference. Okay. Rice is slowly rebuilding. Their happiness has probably gone up a bit. Yeah, look at that. Rice has already got a military rebuilt. And that's the power of having 9 cities. And they're almost connected now. I mean, Jones C. Edwards is almost entirely enveloped by Rice, so they can't really expand far. Yeah, this is probably the closest game we're going to see. Well, I mean, this is the closest game we've seen tonight. We may see more tomorrow. Who knows? Rice's military is back up, and they're going to try for round 2. They're going to go push straight to Jones C. Edwards Stadium. They feel prepared enough. They've fixed their unhappiness problem enough, I guess. That pushes more than enough units to get to Jones C. Edwards Stadium, but do they have enough to hold off and take it? It begins to take damage. They're going to ignore... apparently North Texas's units coming in and trying to take Legion Field. They're kind of stopping it. Jones C. Edwards is down to the yellow. If they can just capture this, then they only have one front to fight. And they do. So they capture Jones C. Edwards. They have to just take this one melee unit out to kind of stop any chance of North Texas taking it back. Legion Field is not taking enough damage to be taken out. There goes the military unit. So now Rice is only fighting on technically 2 fronts and not 4. They can rush their units down to Legion Field, stop the UAB or not the UAB, sorry, the North Texas military from advancing, and then start their push. Or they can come up here from the north and start working down from Johnny Floyd Stadium. Yeah, unfortunately, with the loss of that, with Jones C. Edwards and Apogee, North Texas does not have very many high populations. I mean, they're high population, but they weren't nearly as high as they were at Jones C. Edwards and Apogee. Alrighty, so the war continues on. Sun Bowl seems to be the next target again. This time they're focusing, now they can focus on one city at a time. And there we go. So Sun Bowl's down to the red. We're starting to see attrition come into play here, which is bad for Rice, but they do manage to get it. They capture Sun Bowl Stadium. So now it's down 3 to 11 cities. Each city that they capture, I mean, is just one less production center for North Texas to work with. One less place where they can purchase new units and bring them to the front. So the Alamo Dome seems to be the next point of attack. They're rushing in as many units as they can. Their happiness is probably right back in the dump again. The Alamo Dome's down to half health, though. As long as they can capture it, it doesn't matter. So there we go. The Alamo Dome's down to pretty much no health. And there it goes. It's captured. So Rice is rallying. They're doing what they can. They're moving on to Hushins Industries LT Smith Stadium. Brought immediately down to half health. Immediately down to the red. And captured. So now it's just down to Johnny Floyd Stadium. The former Middle Tennessee State Capitol is the last holding point of North Texas, who has just one single artillery cannon as their last line of defense. They have a worker, and that's it. Johnny Floyd Stadium's down to the red, and it is captured. That is going to be the end of Conference USA. Congratulations to Rice. F in the chat for North Texas. And that is going to be it for Conference USA. So they're going to join the American Conference Championship in East Carolina, the ACC champ in Syracuse, the Big Ten champ in Michigan State, the Big 12 champ in Texas, and the finals. And the finals are going to hopefully take place tomorrow night. This may end up stretching to 3 days, but we'll see what happens. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. We will see you again tomorrow. My name is Greggles, and have a great night. And stay safe, everyone.